This is Duke University.
I co-founded Public Books with Professor Caitlin Zaloom in anthropology at NYU, and we began planning it in fall 2011 and then launched in the summer of 2012. We publish 6 to 8 essays a month. In the beginning of the month, we publish longer reviews of fiction and nonfiction that tend to be 2,000 to 3,000 words, and then we refresh our content mid or late month with briefs that are anywhere from 500 to 1,200 words. We review a pretty wide range of stuff. We review serious nonfiction, both from university presses and from trade. Recently published a review by Seamus Khan, a sociologist, on Lucien Jaume's new book on de Tocqueville from Princeton University Press. We also review literary fiction, of course, and popular fiction. So the most recent William Gass novel and a Stephen King novel. The Marie Ndiaye, by all accounts, a very difficult, very serious book, and Gone Girl. We even did a roundtable on 50 Shades of Grey. We have Jared Gardner and Hilary Shute regularly reviewing graphic novels for us, fantasy, sci-fi, actually always looking for more people who are seriously interested in fantasy and sci-fi. We are very interested in reviewing visual culture. It's not our primary mandate, but we see part of what's happening in the world of books as the world of text and the world of images are becoming increasingly combined. And so as people who are interested in what's happening to literature in the current time, we take visual culture on as well. Reviews of museum installations. This was a review of a war photography piece where visitors were asked to go through the exhibit blindfold first, only listening to the audio, and we had somebody writing about what that experience was like.
As I look at this photograph, I think about how the dead are like the blind, stared at without their knowledge or consent.
Our reviews, ideally, we think of as not just beautiful reviews evaluating a book and contextualizing it, but as essays that use the books as a launching pad for thinking about big ideas and making an argument. Primarily, our reviewers are professors and graduate students. For reviewing fiction, I have been moving to have more novelists review for us, especially novelists who are engaged with scholarship and engaged with research, as many of them are. And activists who are energized by academic ideas, also have them come in and weigh in, usually more on the nonfiction side, but not exclusively. We have a lot of professors reviewing for us in all disciplines and a lot of graduate students writing briefs for us. When the Daily Beast named us a best site a few months ago, they singled us out, praising us for running meaty reviews by professors. And I felt that we had truly fulfilled our mission when the word professor was not being used as a put down, but actually as a reason to go and read something. Professors wrote this. Fewer and fewer academics are asked to review books outside of scholarly journals. And academics are really well placed to review a lot of the books that appear, including popular ones. So when Sylvia Nassar writes a book like The Grand Pursuit, which is essentially a very skilled popularization of a lot of academic ideas and knowledge, it seems worthwhile to have an academic assess what she did in a sympathetic way, because we're not really interested in bashing popularizers any more than we're interested in people who bash academics. But it's worthwhile to have the ideas kind of returned to their source. I think what's different in some ways about what we do is that we're trying to do that but reimagine it from inside the academy. We don't think you have to see yourself as being outside the academy to speak to people outside the academy. The academy is filled with people who are technically only here temporarily, right? For example, undergraduates who may not go on to do PhDs, who once they graduate continue to want to engage with serious ideas. Our digital format means that a lot of our readers are quite young. I think many of them are in their 20s, but of course our content means that many of our readers are academics spanning all ages. I think there's no problem with creating readers. The readers are out there. The readers are not yet sated with content. There is not enough really for them to read that is of high caliber, well written, and full of rich ideas. So we really see our mission as creating a pool of public intellectuals who can write for publications like ours that can meet these readers. And that means a pool of people who are able to communicate with people outside their discipline and outside academia, but write something that would still be of interest and compelling and convincing to people inside the discipline. Don't wait to read reviews in the newspapers and magazines. By the time you're reading those reviews, it's probably too late to pitch us because you need time to write the review. We actually have a pipeline, so we need time to process, we need time to edit it, and then there's a bit of a queue. So what everybody who's interested in writing for any review, including ours, should be doing is going to the publishers' catalogs. Go now to the catalogs for spring 2014 and see which books look interesting to you and find a book, and we can actually arrange to have a review copy sent to anyone who's given us a pitch that we think sounds really plausible and could very well work out. And that way you get the book well before it hits the newsstands, and that's how we stay ahead of the cycle. So, and it doesn't have, and again, it doesn't have to be an American press. Any book that's coming out in spring 2014, anywhere in the world, is fair game. We thought we would just embrace the paradox of what it is to be interested in books at this particular point in time. Some of it's literal. We are really interested in books. I would say the majority of what we review remains books. Most of them can be heard as audiobooks and read on a Kindle or on some other kind of e-reader, but they are still being produced as books, and we think that there's a metaphorical quality to the book that will probably, as most metaphors do, long outlast the physical object itself, where books represent reflectiveness, slowness, taking things seriously, giving them your time. And we wanted to signal that. So I guess I would say that it's not only that we are interested in reviewing books, that but we see our attitude as bookish. Even if what we're approaching is an installation or a fashion exhibit, we're going to deal with it in a bookish way.
Produced by Duke University. Online at duke.edu.